action. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Over Easy. My name is Manny, in case you are new here, or welcome back. I hope you are having an amazing day. I'm going to jump right into a rosebud and thorn, because today I'm just feeling a little weird. I'm feeling a little off. Okay. Let's unpack. We'll start with my rose first. My rose is that this morning I went on a hot girl walk. I do exercise a lot every single weekday, but I actually don't walk outside that often, mainly because it has been raining torrentially in Vancouver this summer, which is so upsetting. I was prepared to do hot girl walks every single day, starting in May and continuing through the summer, but it has been raining so much. But today is one fluke of a day and it is sunny today, so decided to go on a hot girl walk. I walked 8 kilometers and I felt really good. It was originally because, first of all, I knew today was going to be a good day, so I was like, I should do something outside. It's going to be raining for the rest of the week, and I didn't really want to do any strength training today or anything like that. I wasn't really in the mood to go to a gym, so I was like, I'll just go on a walk and see how it goes. I was also feeling a little bit anxious this morning when I woke up, so I was like, I really need to de-stress somehow and definitely get some movement in today. So went on my hot girl walk and it was really, really fun. I thought a lot. I was listening to a podcast about just confidence, body confidence, and confidence in yourself, which I really, really liked. But I was also thinking a lot about just a lot of things. I think I've been in a very reflective mood because I am in this unemployed graduated student phase and I don't have much else to do right now except think. So definitely have been doing a lot of that over the last few weeks. I mean, it's not like I have a full-time job or anything, so I'm pretty unoccupied most of the days, but yeah. So that was really nice though. I really enjoyed going on my little walk and it was very fun. My bud is, okay, so from my walk, I determined a few things. First of all, this is going to be so all over the place. Maybe I should go with my thorn first. My thorn is that I feel like I've been overly critical about everything just because I have so much time to think and ruminate. One thing in particular is my YouTube videos. I've been having a little bit of trouble with recently because I was like, when I was making those college vlogs, obviously I can't do that anymore because I'm not in college. So I was kind of like, I need to think of some new content to do. Like, what am I going to focus my channel on now? And I thought, maybe making these high production aesthetic vlogs would be really nice because it seems a little bit more mature and it's a little more fun. But I realized that it's not really me. That's the problem. And while I would love to be a little bit more sophisticated and mature and classy and elegant, which is what I try to make my vlog, I'm not really that, I have this spunky side to me that I really like and I think is a little bit more special. And I'm not really in a phase yet where I'm trying to be calm. Like, I'm very excited about a lot of things right now. So that's my thorn. I've been having trouble with it recently. I haven't had motivation to do YouTube and make videos, but I did have a little bit of a revelation on my walk today. I have talked about this, I think, every year. I've talked about the fact that I want to daily vlog just to try it out. I know a lot of people say it's not the best or whatever, but I really just think it would be so much fun because my favorite thing about making content is the raw aspect of watching someone else's life. Not everyone enjoys it, but I love it so much, and I love sharing the mundane and little parts of life as well, my life. And that's always been my favorite thing when I make my content. So I was like, I think this is finally the year that I can do this and like actually try it, because I've always pushed myself down before I even tried. I said I wanted to do daily vlogging last year, but then I ended up just like convincing myself not to. And I really think I just need a year where I don't throw myself down like that, because literally I am my own worst enemy and I feel like it could be so much fun. So that's my bud. I am going to try daily vlogging. I think starting next week, I'm going to start posting vlogs or videos every single day, and we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for it, obviously. And I'm also going to try and not put pressure on myself to make my vlogs feel a certain way, like make my vlogs feel like they have to be like a vlog, if that makes sense. I've always pressured myself because I'm like, oh, my vlog is not like everyone else's vlog, and that's somehow wrong. But really, it's like a video. I can do whatever I want with it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pressure myself with the structure, with the editing, with anything like that, and also with just the views. I'm just going to post it and then move on to the next one. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited. Does give me a little bit more joy, and I think this will also get me to do more things, because obviously if I'm going to vlog every day or most days, I have to do things and make it interesting. So I think this will motivate me to get out of the house as well, which is something else that I need to do. So very excited about that, and I think that'll be really fun. But today's episode is about my trip to Kelowna. Last week I went to Kelowna, which is in British Columbia, with 3 of my friends. Originally it was supposed to be a graduation trip, just like to celebrate that we graduated, but it ended up also being a celebratory trip because one of my friends is going to med school next year, and that's pretty exciting. So I think this episode will be a little bit shorter because this trip was pretty short, and also I'm kind of in a weird mood, so I didn't really want to film a really long podcast today. I'm not really super talkative today, that's the thing. So we'll just talk briefly about what we did in Kelowna. First of all, an extra 2 hours onto your transit time. When I Googled how long it would take for us to get from Vancouver area to Kelowna, it said 4.5 hours. And I was like, oh my God, that's solid. Like, let's just go. But I totally did not realize that, we would have to stop to pee. We would have to stop, take breaks. My butt would be sore. So it ended up on the first day taking us 6 hours to get to Kelowna, just with all the stopping that we did. We stopped to pee. We stopped to get water. We stopped just to take phone calls. My friend had to take a meeting. So I don't know why I didn't think about that in advance. I just totally forgot. That's definitely something I'm keeping in mind, though. You just totally got to remember that you need to pee. But when we first got to Kelowna, we got lunch at this Korean fusion place, Asian fusion, Korean fusion kind of place called Jay's Cafe and Bistro. Definitely would recommend hitting that place up. It is so nice. The people that work there are also super, super nice. Because we got there super late in the day, we got there at 3 p.m. There was no one there, and all the staff were super accommodating and nice and telling us all the recommendations and stuff, and we had a really good time eating there. I got this spicy seafood pasta, and it was definitely very spicy, but it was super good. My spice tolerance is definitely getting a lot better compared to recently. I've also been challenging myself more with my spice tolerance. That's the thing. So definitely increasing my spice tolerance. I don't want to be a weenie anymore, So that's where we ate lunch on the first day, and then we went to check into our Airbnb. Our Airbnb was so nice. We were living in a basement suite of somebody's house, but they renovated it to make it an Airbnb. There was a little kitchenette. There was 2 beds, but you could fit 4 people. It was just perfect. They were so accommodating. They had 4 dogs that were super cute, but it was such a great accommodation and also not that expensive. So I was very happy about that Airbnb find. Really, really liked it. We stayed in West Kelowna, which, if you don't know, it's kind of like Seattle. There's a huge body of water in between 2 main parts of the city. So in Kelowna, there's a Okanagan Lake that separates Kelowna from West Kelowna. Kelowna is where downtown is, and then West Kelowna was where we were staying, which I think is more residential. But honestly, they're not that far from each other. It's a 15-minute drive, which is not bad at all. The second day, we headed to Pulp Fiction Coffee House to grab breakfast. Super, super cool and funky in there. There were so many antique books and just antique random things that was super cool. You can just tell that everything in Kelowna is very locally owned. There aren't that many chains, and everything is very unique and has their own taste, which I really, really like. I think it's being in a big city, and Vancouver is not even that big, but being in a city, you can definitely lose some of that feel, and it feels very homey when you're in Kelowna. Definitely could see myself in another life living in Kelowna and just living in a small town. I think that would be so much fun. But Pulp Fiction Coffee House was great, and then we went hiking. We went on the Kelowna Park Regional Loop, which basically was a big loop that went up the side of a mountain, and at the very top you can look down at Okanagan Lake. It was absolutely beautiful. It was such an easy hike too. It was only 3 kilometers and about 100 meters of elevation, but that 100 meters gets you up so high that you can just see the lake, and it is so beautiful. It was also super sunny that day that we went hiking, so just all around a good time. The water is sparkling, the sun is reflecting on the water, and it was just so nice. After the hiking, we went to a winery because obviously when you're in Kelowna, you gotta, when you're in the Okanagan. And we ate lunch at Friend Estate Winery. They have a beach cafe there, and then we also had a wine tasting. Let me talk about my first experience at a wine tasting because I felt so adult. Everyone else there was like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, retired maybe from out of town or something. And we were the only group of like young Asian girls that were at the tasting, and we'd never done that before, so we had no idea what we were doing. Basically, at a tasting, they pour you a little bit of wine, obviously, and what we learned is when you're first tasting it, only take the tiniest sip so that the wine coats your mouth first, because obviously depending on what you eat beforehand or what you drink beforehand, your wine is going to taste different. So taking that tiny sip before you actually taste the wine allows your mouth to be primed for the alcohol. Then you take your actual tasting sip. It can just be a little bit, and then you can actually taste the notes in the alcohol. I thought that was super cool that they don't actually put any flavoring in. That's what we thought this whole time. When we were reading the menu about the alcohol, they were like, oh, you can taste notes of cocoa and cinnamon or whatever. And we were like, oh, do they put the cocoa and cinnamon into the barrel when they're aging the wine? But no, it's like as the grapes get riper and harvested, and the way that they get aged and fermented makes those flavors naturally. They don't put anything in, and I thought that was super cool. Learned a lot for sure. We had no idea what we were doing at first, but our wine tasting lady was so nice and helped us out and just told us all the tips and tricks, and that was super fun. I actually, surprisingly, I'm not a wine person. I'm more of a cocktail person for now still, but I did really enjoy a couple reds and some white wines. White wine is definitely very, very yummy. But yeah, that wine tasting experience was pretty fun. I would definitely recommend you do it if you're of age and you have the time. I think it's like a good experience because as you get older, you really start to learn to appreciate your food a lot more. As a kid, I think with food and with drinks and everything, it was just like, oh, I'm just eating this and I eat what I like. But the flavors didn't really matter. But now as an adult, I really appreciate the flavors and things. Like, for example, wine is one, but also coffee has been another one. When I buy my beans from the grocery store, I make my coffee at home, I really can taste the differences and like can articulate what kind of notes I like in my coffee. I would definitely say if you're looking for a coffee recommendation, I know it's pricey, but Chamberlain coffee is actually so good. I got it once for my birthday. My boyfriend bought it for me, and I really, really liked it so much. Like, you can just really taste the notes of the apple, and I think there was like toffee. It was so good. So that's sidetrack, but definitely recommend that. And I think that's also like a really good skill to have, is to be able to appreciate your food and the palate that you have. Yeah, I do really enjoy eating a lot more now. I feel like I'm a lot more mindful when I eat and not just like trying to scarf down my food. So I really, really do appreciate that. We wanted to go paddleboarding, but just didn't end up having the time, which is so sad, but it's okay because honestly, it wasn't like the warmest when we were there. It was definitely sunny, but I feel like the water would not have been that warm. So I hope later on this summer I can still go paddleboarding. Definitely will for sure. Just like need to find the time, and I want to go so badly. So that was super fun. And then where did we have dinner? Oh, I forgot to talk about on the first night we had dinner at a restaurant downtown called Salt and Brick, and basically their menu changes every so often with every season and stuff like that. All their ingredients are locally grown and harvested, and same with their alcohol. There was one particular dish that I absolutely loved, and it was so weird, but it was so good. This dish was basically, they had fermented pickled grapes, so your grapes were a little bit sour and pickly, with beer cheese, which I didn't really know what it was, but it kind of tasted like mascarpone. Maybe that's the right mascarpone. Is that the right comparison? Or I don't know, but it was like a very creamy cheese. Then there was popcorn. Like, it tasted honestly like the Smart Foods white cheddar popcorn. And there was something else. Oh, roasted Brussels sprouts. So there was roasted Brussels sprouts. Very, very roasted. They were so good. This white cheddar tasting popcorn, beer cheese, and fermented grapes. And this combination was so weird. We did not know what to expect. But when I ate it, I absolutely loved all the flavors together. Like, I think that's just another example of me being able to appreciate the flavors of my food. It was so good. I didn't think I would like it. I haven't really ever been really picky with food. I think I've always like been okay with eating anything. But that was just so good. So cool. Definitely really like that. Yeah, so that was our first day dinner. Oh, the second day dinner, we actually stayed in our Airbnb and we made homemade salmon bowls like the ones that Emily Mariko makes on TikTok. That was super good. We pan-fried salmon, made instant rice, cut up cucumbers. We had mango, we had avocado, mayo, soy sauce, seaweed, just like the typical salmon bowl stuff. Super good. We just set up our picnic blanket and sat outside the Airbnb that we were at, and that was super wholesome and fun. On the last day, we went to OEB, which also is in Vancouver, if you know. OEB is basically a brunch place, and one of our friends had never had it before, so we were going because we saw that it was in downtown Kelowna. We were like, oh my god, let's go try it out. And I don't love OEB. It's not my favorite brunch place. I think it's way too heavy if you get the poutine bowls, but still really good. And then we started coming home, and I ended up driving for like 7 hours total that day with stops and everything, but still like 7 hours total, which was definitely very, very tiring. There were some points on the highway where it started pouring rain and I couldn't even see outside of my windshield, and it was so dangerous because obviously everyone is driving so fast, so I was so scared. But that was definitely a big driving experience. It was fine, glad we're all safe, but super interesting and scary, that's definitely for sure. But I do actually really enjoy driving. Would prefer if it was sunny all the way through, but it was good. We made it home, and after I got home, I just passed out. The last thing I want to talk about today is what this trip taught me, because with every trip that I'm taking this summer, I'm trying to take a lesson from it, right? Like learn something new. And this trip was definitely very different because obviously I was traveling with my friends. I did. But I haven't traveled with a group of friends before, which was very, very different. And also one of the girls, I would say I wasn't like super close with, like we were definitely all in the same friend group, but I sometimes can like stay quite shut off from other people. I would say for me, the tendency is to like keep a really small, close-knit group that's really close, and then everyone else is kind of just like hangout friends, which is totally fine, but sometimes I need to challenge myself to let more people in because it can be a very rewarding experience, and it was. So I think for my last episode, I did the We're Not Really Strangers game. I brought that card game to Kelowna, and we ended up playing it every single night, and we pretty much did every single question in the box. And that's crazy, first of all, every single question. And I learned so much about my friends. First of all, let me try and list this off so it's not too all over the place. First of all, I have like a whole new sense of gratitude for my friendships in my life. They do really make me feel so fulfilled. I have talked about this before, but I feel a little bit insecure when people are really supportive and really nice, because sometimes I'm like, oh, am I enough? Like, is this it? Like, do they feel like they're getting their efforts returned to them? Like, what if they don't think I'm putting in effort? You know, just all that kind of stuff. But I realized that with a friendship, especially close friends, it's okay if that return is not immediate. So my boyfriend and I talked about this another time, but basically what he was saying was, as your friendships get more and more intimate and closer, the longer you're willing to wait for this benefit to return to you. So obviously, with all our friendships, we see some sort of benefit in them, because otherwise, why would we be friends with this person? But sometimes, like maybe with, for example, a friend that you meet in your lecture class, if you message them asking for help with the homework, but they don't respond, you're less likely to be patient with that, because obviously you don't know them as well and you're trying to get that benefit right away. Whereas with a closer friend, most of the time we're able to like wait and be patient with the benefit that returns back to us, because we know these people a little bit better and we know that they're going to return it at another time. So I definitely felt that on my trip, and it felt really, really nice. Like I felt a lot of benefit back, and I just felt so happy the whole time and fulfilled, which was really nice. So that was super fun. I just realized like I really do have such supportive people in my life that I am so grateful for. Sometimes I forget that, because some days, I'll be like by myself and like ready to girl boss on my own, but it's also nice to be reminded that you have people that support you in your life. So that's definitely one big thing that I realized on this trip. And then another big thing was with the We're Not Really Strangers game. This is so not sponsored. I really wish they would notice me, because I'm like the biggest advocate for them now. But with the We're Not Really Strangers game, they asked questions that I would never even think to ask. Like a lot of them are very vulnerable. For example, there were like ones where it was like, what do you think I deserve more credit for that I don't hear enough about? Or like, what do you wish you were congratulated about more? And just like such a spectrum of lighthearted but also deep questions that I would honestly never think to ask my friends. Also, sometimes it can be really awkward, right? Like you're like, ugh, do people want to go there to that level? What if they're not comfortable and stuff like that? But when everyone agrees to sit down to play this game, it's like, that everyone's ready to spill. And that is what happened. So I was really, really, really happy with that. I mean, obviously, I'm probably like the most open of all my friends. I love talking about my feelings and just talking about vulnerabilities and everything like that. Like I have no problem doing that with anyone, to be honest. So I was always down, but I know that there are friends that I have that are not always as open and need to be in the right mood. So this game has honestly changed my life. I'm not even joking. So definitely advocate for buying it if you're interested, or just get someone else in your friend group to buy it, because I'm willing to split with anyone I know. This is unrelated now, but I also brought the game yesterday to my brunch with my friends Angela and Eric. And again, it was just like the way that we all were open to having these deep conversations that we've never really talked about before. And it was just such a cool way to understand my friends on another level that I've never really done before. Because again, like, sometimes you don't even know what to ask. Sometimes not everyone's in the mood. Sometimes like the questions can be a little awkward, and it just really buffers that for you. So I really, really enjoyed that, and definitely feel a new sense of gratitude for my friendships and everything like that. And I feel really good. I feel a lot better today after recording my podcast. I know it is super short compared to my regular episodes, but honestly, I think I will end it there. Short and sweet. I hope you have a lovely week. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you soon with another new episode. Okay, bye.
And I was like, yo.